abnormalities.
Yeah.
In that case, it's nature's way of saying, I can't have you to keep this baby. Please let me take it away for you. Later on, it tends to become ovarian function, and that's usually a progesterone deficiency. That can be corrected. There are other conditions such as thrombophilias, because she describes what's called recurrent miscarriages, and that's more than 3 miscarriages in her pregnancy state. And there are certain other conditions such as thyroid disease, diabetes, thrombophilias, which is blood disorders, antiphospholipid syndromes, which also can cause. Cervical incompetence in the second trimester is generally aided by the insertion of a stitch on the cervix, which helps to maintain the pregnancy.
Yeah.
There's no proven benefit to that, but yes.
So we do that in South Africa as well?
Yes.
Then what happens in a case where a person is maybe 5-6 months pregnant and your water decides to break? And
that's a different situation.
And you find that the child is fine. The doctor says the child is fine, but there you are now, water broke.
Yes. You see, in that case, we need to identify a cause. In most cases, we don't find a cause, but in general, if the waters break before labor onsets, there is usually an infective cause for that. When I say prognosis, is the chances of survival towards full term is poor. And we got to try and get the best out for that child. So there are certain procedures that we do to try and aid to prolong that pregnancy until we reach a stage where we can say this baby is safe to deliver. In general, most of the time the waters do not break. Women go into labor, deliver a live baby, and that gives us a clue towards cervical incompetence. Most of the waters tend to break after 28 weeks.
But from your experience, do you see moms who've had a miscarriage before keep trying, or they just give up immediately to say, well, maybe it's just not meant for me?
No, they do keep trying, and that's a good advantage. They should do that. Some do go through, the guilt aspect and anger, and they decide, no, they don't want to fall pregnant, but by chance later they do fall pregnant. Yes, so don't give up.
Thank you, Dr. Mia, and thank you to you, Jane. I hope from your story we'll all find courage. For viewers at home, if you want to further continue with this discussion and empower yourself, please join us on our online discussion forum on www.mamasandpapasmake.co.za. Growing from 1 child to 2 children can be challenging for parents. It can also be tough on children who have to learn to share their parents. We want to find out how best to handle sibling rivalry.
Of course, this is a huge change. Remember that a family is a system. And when there is a change in a system, regardless how big or small it might be, it affects all the parts in the system. The birth and the pregnancy is something that we have to broach in a very sensitive manner. If we have a little toddler, we need to have toddler on board. He or she must be part of the journey. I strongly recommend that when mom goes for her doctor's appointments, that little one gets taken with. That he or she sees the developing fetus and baby, that we educate our children, so it's not a big surprise. Children are also very tactile and visual. They need to see mommy's tummy growing, they need to feel mommy's tummy growing, they need to even feel the kicking or punching of the baby, and I think that also desensitizes and excites the child for the impending delivery of his or her sibling.
I think just to start off with, I think with toddlers, there's a sense that they have to share mom and dad's attention. They feel that they might have to fight for that attention because now it is being shared. And I think the most important thing that can be done is to chat with the toddler about the new baby, to, try and involve them in the process as much as possible, just so that they feel that they are a part of the entire unit and not as if someone might then replace them, so that they feel that they do have a place in the family as well.
quite challenging because the newborn's needs are a lot. Their demands are very high. So of course mum will be with newborn and if the little one sees mum even breastfeeding, which is a very close experience for the infant and the child, the little one might feel left out. So what we really have to try and do is to prepare not just mum and dad, but to prepare the whole family system to support the little toddler, that he or she holds a very special place in mum and dad's heart, and to get them involved, give them responsibilities. The little ones love, running and fetching mum a blanket for little one, or even teach them to help change the baby or bathe the baby. It just gives them that sense of empowerment. It also gives them that sense of, I'm big and mum is really trusting me with this little fragile being. So I think it's really about incorporating the little one into this process all the way.
I think it's important never to take sides or to try and play the children up against one another. It's important just to hear from both children what the concern is, what the difficulty might be, and to show understanding for both children. I think the minute that there's side taking, it might feel that then one view is more important than the other. And so not to ignore it, but to be aware of it and see from there how it can be managed. I think with all siblings there is a certain amount of fighting and jealousy. I think that it is normal during most of childhood, and it can go into adulthood. When it does become problematic is when it starts to affect the entire family, and the conflicts between both of them start to really break down their relationship between one another.
If we tidy up properly, and if we make a present for her, and listen.
We are privileged to live in a country that embraces diversity. But how do you introduce your children to so many languages, cultures, and traditions?
Well, our eldest is a girl. She's turning 6 in June. So when I was expecting her, we took it for granted. We knew that we were going to speak to her and subsequent children in our home languages. So that was kind of a given. And then of course, us being from two different home language groups, there was obviously that dynamic in terms of how do you integrate that and how do you live in a multilingual home. The number one rule is that you have to be consistent. So you as the parent have to be consistent in which language you're going to speak to the child in.
There's actually not a discussion about whether she was going to be a Tsonga. She is a Tsonga, so there was not really a discussion about that. I think the discussion was going to be about whether she learns my language, which is Pedi, or not. And my husband does not know this, but I decided that once she is fluent in both English and Tsonga, I'm going to teach her Pedi.
So another thing that we decided in terms of deciding that that we are going to teach them our mother tongue was that, we're so surrounded by English, as you're saying, from a business point of view, but even children in terms of entertainment, in terms of TV, it's so English dominant that, we thought it's a given that they're going to learn English. What's not a given is that they're going to learn their mother tongue. So we took the point of view that we are going to teach them and speak to them in their mother tongues or, home languages, and that they'll pick up English from school, and that's exactly what's happened. So she knows that when she's at school, she speaks English, and at home, she speaks her two home languages.
Scientifically, it has been proven that as a people, the best foundation is your mother tongue. So if I had it my way, she would, actually go to a Tsonga medium school for a good period of her life up until high school level, because then she would have well developed and secured language skills.
Well, I beg to differ. I actually do beg to differ. I think the foundation that she gets at home should ensure that she is able to speak her mother tongue, which is, interestingly, is not my tongue. I don't know why it's called mother tongue, but anyway, besides the point. I'm saying that I think it's incumbent upon parents to teach their kids the language that they speak themselves. But I think even if she was in a Tsonga speaking environment, I would still have taken her to an English medium school, because that would not have detracted from our role to teach her the language that she needs to speak. And that's how I would have taken it. And interestingly enough, she hasn't really struggled because she is able to speak both quite fluently, I mean, at her age. So I think kids learn much quicker than we think that they do. So I don't think that would have been a problem. I think she'll speak fluent English, she'll speak fluent Tsonga. She'll have no problems.
That's all we have time for today. Join us again next week as we discuss baby showers and in-laws. Take care and goodbye.